talking crap about paying all this money for this diet. Okay. Ooh, those little seeds scare me. I'm like, I'm wormed up in there or something, bro. Wormed up in there or something, bro. That's good. With a hint of tastes like iodine, sodium. What is this? It look like the same thing. Let's bust it open to see, guys. Bust that thing open, baby. Ooh. I'm a fruitarian. Hey, I'm a fruitarian. I gotta be quiet when I got that knife that way. That's dangerous, boy. I'm a fruitarian. You got a bitter little good taste to it. What is this called? A mumea, a bubia, a ruria, a nenuia. What is this called, y'all? I know what it's called. Do y'all have you ever had this? Ooh, that's a white thing, boy. I got me a white thing. That's that white thing, boy. The dude that white thing taste like, boy. I see that white meat. I can have it, boy.
What in the world even is this?
Crunchy, almost like an apple.
I guess I best pause to transform the content. Benton here. How y'all doing? What's happening? Mr. Cleveland in the house. Bananas. EBT declares shenanigans, apparently. What's happening, E? Good to see you, bro. I'm finding a lot of enjoyment in this Cali Muscle premiere here. The black man, the dark-skinned black man eating the watermelon. It just somehow it never gets old.
No taste.
I guess he's off the. He finished up his 32.
Man, all these are cold.
32 days on watermelon. So now he's. I guess he's just on all sorts of. He said something about exotic fruits. I'm not exactly sure. He said his YouTube and his all-time highest numbers he's ever had on his social media. Dude claimed to have been on YouTube for like some crazy amount of years. So I don't know. Maybe I'm out of the loop. What's cracking, partner? Indeed. Yeah, I figured I probably had an hour in me. I almost begged off, but I figured I probably had an hour in me or so. Definitely trying to mine the hotspot data because the Wi-Fi's crapped out. Certainly. You know, what's up, partners? Indeed. So I'm 2 days in a row now. We're playing with fire. A second 12-ouncer of coffee. But you know, I mean, why not? Why not? What's up with this camera? I think we need to go. High def. Standard def. There we go. I might get my grape in there. Well, Cali Muscle might, if I go too far, he might try to eat my grape. Say he's a fruitarian. I'm not sure I believe that, Mr. Muscle. Quite sure I believe you there.
All tastes good except that one. I feel my energy rising by the second. What is this, man? Look like I already did this, man. Look like I already cut one of these. God doggy. Yeah, look like that look like a green little cantaloupe. That look like green little cantaloupe. Uh-oh. Oh, God, it's hitting the system. I'm nasty. I'm a nasty. It's like, boy, you've been on watermelon 31 days. What are you doing, boy? You like, I want to cut myself. Gotta be careful tonight.
How y'all like that 144p? Partner.
All the melons starting to taste like Last of the Mohicans.
Why? Whatever do you mean, sir?
It's heavy too. I feel like a watermelon.
Cali Muscle must have got the care package.
Let's cut this one down. Ooh, I see green inside.
It's not so great in 144p.
Look. Cut it like how Kevin Moon cut his water belt.
World premiere.
Boom, you doing like that?
The Cali Muscle World premiere.
Get them guts out of there.
Oh, wait a minute.
2 right here. We gonna keep it going, baby.
Now we're
Let's
live.
keep it going. I'm out. Let me eat in peace, y'all.
All right.
Get up out of here, man.
See you later.
Hey, Whitey, cut the camera, man. It's time to go.
Having this over. Oh, not trying to do the promos. I don't think he's completely done. Oh man. Since E's in the house, maybe you hear about these fellas, the EPA getting fined by the EPA. I bet EBT's seen a video with this fella, this Brent fella here in the racing scene. He's talking about getting fined $180,000 by the EPA for something to do with modifying cars, apparently.
What cars we're tuning, whose cars we're tuning, what parts we're selling. You know, I wasn't sure what it was, honestly. It didn't seem to worry me that much.
Some of this is from like an earlier video I've already seen, but this video was 4 days ago, unless they just re-released it or something.
It was just, you know, when you're running a business for so long, it's like you have things that just come up and you just take care of them and you just, you know what I mean? And I thought, you know, maybe they were trying to figure out what parts were being sold or that kind of thing and get a handle on those things. So we supplied the information, we did all that, and then was probably 6 months later, it was literally a few days before we went on Rocky Mountain Race Week, I got a letter that said, you pay us $18,000 now, or in 30 days you owe us $180,000. It was like, what? And you're reading this paperwork, and it showed we sold 30 Honda ECUs off our website. So it's not, they didn't come to our building, you know, and I didn't make these products. I literally sold them to some clients, and I would still have to sign, you know, some form or something that said I couldn't modify cars, and you know, and this is my livelihood, this is what I do. And I made that video just right off the cuff on our channel. Really, just I was so frustrated. I honestly couldn't believe it. And I still
welcome to Nazi Germany, folks.
You know,
what's up, RT?
I mean,
see you, bro.
It literally was like the mob. To me, it felt like the mob came in, shake me down for some money, and then I pay them.
That's what it is.
Maybe a year or two down the line, they're
gangsters,
back, you know, to get their next check, and then the next thing. I mean, it literally felt like
it's
that
literal
kind of
RICO, man.
intent. So I really couldn't believe it.
It's legal when they do it.
It blows my mind that that's where this world has come to.
We're there, Podna.
Little shop selling things online. I feel like I'll have a SWAT team here.
Zombie apocalypse, serenity now. Praise God.
These aren't big shops, but they'll swoop in with a SWAT team, hold everybody on the curb. They'll comb every car in the shop. They've got some great guys that understand our lingo, our tuning softwares, and they know how to get in there and encrypt it and figure out, you know, what's inside the computers. I was getting contacted by all kinds of folks trying to help, and everybody helped immensely. JH Diesel out of Florida. He helped me find an attorney that specialized in dealing with the EPA and all that stuff, and that guy went to work. All our fans kind of jumped in and helped us get that going, because I don't think I've dealt with some shops the last year or so that I've got these letters and they just literally close the doors. They don't have a support group like all our fans and all our friends in YouTube. YouTube has literally saved my business, saved my butt, and I can't thank everybody enough. It's honestly been incredible and humbling, and it's why I work so hard and I don't slow down.
What's up, Terry Miller? Good to see you.
I make everybody proud. I want to, you know, I really love this
Americans
industry and the people in it, and
trying to race some cars.
I'm trying to keep that level going
in America.
my kids do it. I'd love to see, you know, everybody's
probably gonna have to move to Mexico if he
definitely
wants
changed
to.
I don't think enough people know, and it's crazy because literally
I'm sure people don't know, sir. Yeah, he probably let's promote his channel lest we get in trouble here. Trouble 1320 video. This isn't even his channel, but we'll promote the channel of the, you know, wherever the complaint will be forwarded from. Was it wild? Just like all the other years. 1320 video. If anybody's into this sort of thing, I am from time to time. I definitely enjoy drag racing videos. I will say that. I like this sort of content. Don't know that I myself will subscribe. Video channel. 1320 being the length of the quarter mile in feet, of course. Lest anybody forget. That's to this day when I can't remember approximately how many feet. That's how I guesstimate. Well, that's 1320 and a quarter. Har, har, har. 1320. 1320 feet. Here, I'll drop the link to the video. Racing cars. What's up, Sunshine Time? case anybody become outraged on their own time. Why not? I see old Beck's over there putting in work. I'm still screen capping. It's still going. I don't know if the broadcast is still going. Perhaps that's done. But so I wasn't going to screen cap. She's been leaving them up. But I saw Cage make his appearance. So we're capping. No cap. We're capping. Cool. Gary Baxter got it. Yeah, I like those sort of videos from time to time. Hey, yeah, man. 11 minutes down, 49 to go. I've spoken before. I never quite know if I've really got anything to say before I go live. I saw that Highly Suspect had emailed me yesterday. Apparently his iPhone just shut down completely, whatever that means. Oh, no kidding, bro. I hope not, Rob. I mean, rigged, certainly. I mean, of course it's rigged, but I think they are actually racing the cars, right? Oh, my tinnitus is really peaking today. This is high levels of tinnitus. So, yeah, I mean, some folks might say it's the vapes causing inflammation. Well, I don't know what's in these vapes, so that's certainly possible. But I'm starting to think maybe just my own body is like this ox bile. If y'all know about ox bile, that's associated with bile salts, and then the taurine. I think some of what may be happening is my body's moving more because what apparently ends up happening is the bile transports lots of toxins away from the liver and into the feces. Apologies for being graphic potentially. Oh, and I bought 3 pieces of meat. Let me show you what I got so y'all can probably make fun of me, but I'm using the slow cooker. I priced out the it's funny, man, the cast iron skillet. I like the 8-inch. To me, that's the easiest one, and it's the smallest one they sell at Walmart, I'm pretty sure. $15, $15.90 something. And I was expecting, certainly, I knew it wasn't cheap, but I guess in the past when I bought several at Walmart, those Lodge, and you get what you pay for, obviously. A proper skillet of that size is probably even more money than that, and these have whatever that bullshit coating is, but there are some benefits to that bullshit coating that eventually I end up eating some of. Shout out to DuPont, right? That's how that goes. Hey, Bad Barney, no bullet. Great to see you, sir. Shout out to 20 in the house, by the way. Indeed. Yeah, the cat. I do enjoy the coffee, even if it is, that version of wearing too tight shoes for the sense, for the feeling of relief when they are finally removed, if that makes sense. But yeah, still planning to most likely get off of it, but I never committed to that. And even these shitty beans are still pretty good. So I don't know, man. Although expensive, this Walmart here has some pretty decent locally roasted coffee, but it's a tad pricey, I must say. Where was I? Oh, the meat. Yes. All right, we're back. The stack of meat here. Music calls a secret. What do you think there, Bubba? I don't know how many pounds of meat this is, but it's somewhere around $45 plus tax, I believe. Yeah, what do you think of that? These are all right at $15, I believe, each one of these. 2.23 pounds. Hey, there's your 322, of course. Why wouldn't there be? This is going to be so good. Oh, man. These come out in the slow cooker, I believe. I had a cheaper cut, but something basically this, but with less fat. Certainly. So yeah, that was 1443, 1553, or sorry, 1533. All kinds of numbers here, and 1546. So I got the last three that look pretty decent. So these are like $6.47 a pound, I guess, and they had some decent looking ribeyes, pretty good actually. And 8 something a pound, 8.47. And at least twice I took my dad to that same grocery store where I got this. They have a pretty decent meat section for what it is. And at least a couple different times I bought him a bunch of ribeyes and New York strips, and then got him some, freezer bags so he could put them in his freezer. Because they don't always freeze very properly, or, maybe more apt to get freezer burn. But it took him quite a while to eat them. But if with what some of us know about the health benefits of the dietary cholesterol and the saturated fat and the animal fat, I think it helped him out, because he was definitely when he left that lady that he was married to, he was certainly he talks about it now that it had affected his cognition. So something I learned from the lefties, the hippies, out west is, yeah, I can make a suggestion to somebody. Hey, man, maybe, hey, Dad, try to eat some red meat or some steak or whatever. And he is health conscious enough where he's not going to just be like me and pig out on it. But so it took him some period of time to go through all of this, so much so that, there ended up being like 2 separate times we did this. But, I'm probably $60-$70 worth of steak at a time, I'm guessing, somewhere in there. Truck driving, money's no object in a way. Living in a truck, I was like, I don't care what it costs. I just want it. Give it to me. So yeah, looking forward to that. So that's going to be one day. So this is 3 days, obviously. Slow cooker, man. It comes out okay. It's obviously not, I'm not even putting broth or, I'm not trying to make it taste good. But again, in semi-starvation, and meat tastes good, right? So it's going to be just fine. Not going to cook it as long either. Just going to throw one large sweet potato, probably cut it in half, and just however done it gets is however done it gets. Yeah, man. Arkansas, bro. I'm telling you, man. Although I'm sure they're shooting it up with whatever to try to make it. There definitely is a lot to do with them making it visually appeal. I already know what it looks like on the other side, and it don't look like that, right? So there's something to that, necessarily. But oh yeah, dude, for sure, man. Even those ribeyes, like, obviously it's kind of a waste, because especially so much of the fat liquefies. I should have just drank the damn broth or whatever. But even that worked out pretty good. And that was just with my normal amount of veggies. Like, the damn thing was almost full, because I guess I was eating more veggies at that time. And it just sort of, spur of the moment, bought these steaks and just threw a couple of them in there, or like one in it. I guess whatever was left of that one I was eating raw. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Definitely. Again, ever mindful of the limited bandwidth on the hotspot. I think they still let you have a slow. They still, even after the 25 gig, I think they just slow me down. I believe it continues working. I'm pretty sure. So I could still go to websites, I guess. Yeah, man. Crispy fats, indeed. I love it. Woo. Yeah, when I would cook mine rare on the skillet, cast iron, I would get it, real hot, obviously. But I was cooking mostly outside the truck for the most part. Get it real hot, and then, obviously get a good sear. But I found cooking it actually rare, the fat wasn't really, rendering. So I would start cutting it apart, like where where the fat is. If you'd have to, you know what I'm talking about on a ribeye. So then I would just like render the edge, all the fat on the edge or whatever. Because we're eating all of that, certainly. All right, let me go throw these back in the fridge. And still rocking with the processed eggs, of course, but definitely going to get on some sort of program of making my own hard-boiled eggs, or just if I can figure out the delicate nature of egg yolks. Somebody said boil them. I guess. I don't know. Yeah, man. Why not, Dow? Good to see you, bro. I am the Dow. I am the Tao. What's up, Christos in the house? I'm chilling, man. Just figured I could get about an hour in trying to make this data last. The dater. What do we tell the? It's 2 weeks, right at 2 weeks. I guess a little more than 2 weeks. The 18th. So the 19th, I guess, is the first day of the new data. Yeah, dude. I gotta say, man, I've doubled up on the ox bile. I was taking 500 milligrams per each of my 3 meals, and then sometimes I end up inventing a 4th meal, which happens some of the time. And so I go ahead and hit it again, and then 1,000 milligrams of taurine every time too. And I've looked into that, and apparently, as long as I don't stay on that high of a dose every day, as long as I get off of that and maybe just go back to 1,000 like once a day, I should be fine. The bile, though, again, I was trying to say that earlier, and I think I sidetracked myself. But I'm thinking some of this is just my body's seeing an opportunity with the introduction of all these bile salts and the taurine. Apparently work in concert. So maybe that's what I'm going through with maybe my organs are just dealing with more, toxins and stuff getting dumped into my system. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I feel like I'm doing pretty good overall, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Mr. Sterling Ray or Mrs. I always mess that one up. That one's a girl, I believe. That's a gal. Don't you misgender me, sir? Well, that's of course. Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's another thing. Like, probably my bile was working as well as it was at a certain time because, certainly the high fat diet I was on, with lots of taurine and lots of creatine, lest we forget, lots of vitamin A, lots of minerals, selenium, lots of stuff. There's lots of nutrition in the beef there. So certainly, it's got what Benton craves on some level. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. And that's more than my normal amount of, normally I'm having right at a pound of tuna, 4 ounces dry, each one of those cans supposedly. So call that a pound, and then 6 egg yolks. Typically do not consume the whites. But yeah, so maybe just the kidneys may be dealing with a little more than normal, perhaps, as well as the lymphatic, lest we forget the lymphatic. And then this walking around, also the lymphatic might start seeing its opportunity to move some toxins out. And I don't know if you folks are aware, but apparently the lymph, there's no pumping involved in the lymph system, so that apparently it relies upon locomotion. And then people like Bill Maher, and yes, I know he's a predator. He's an athlete and entertainer, the filthiest people in the realm, certainly, according to Dick Gregory, but who should know, presumably, or would know. Now, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, B vitamins as well, correct. Yeah. And I want to say this about my own, me choosing to take control of my mental health. And yes, I am going to speak on synthetic supplements, but it's still better than nothing as far as I'm concerned. But one moment. Especially somebody who, may be involved for years with the SAD, Standard American Diet, especially when we look at how many years I spent eating a very, very, very poor diet for many years, most of my upbringing, certainly. Mostly that was my choice, but somehow I knew to get enough fat. I think that was a big part of the, not that I was necessarily addicted to junk food, although certainly I would have been on some level, but just lots of saturated fat. My brain does the best on high amounts of saturated fat, but then that's where we're running into, I can only assimilate and absorb so much. But that's also the game changer of the, even if these are highly processed and it's just more or less egg yolk powder and they've just formed it up to look like, I mean, that's certainly possible, but I guess I'm getting just enough of what's in an egg yolk, presumably. I can tell the difference. All right, Mr. Baxter. Yep. Exactly, man. Yeah. We're winding down the THCO, but we're not there yet. It's just so wonderful. I love it so much. But thank you for your patience by scatterbrainedness. Oh, I've done that at times, Gary. I've discontinued coffee. Yeah, I'm not nearly as addicted to it as I have been in the past. And even then, I don't ever drink it past noon, no matter what. Although I did on my birthday, but that was a different thing. I was choosing to, switch things up. One day a year, right? It doesn't have to be my birthday, though, obviously. Woo. This straw Anna is going hard on the THCO. Not that means anything. It's a color box, right? A colored box. All right. And we'll take callers, I guess. I mean, who would even want to try to talk to me at this point? But maybe organize yourselves into pairs in the live chat, maybe, and come up two at a time, and I'll just hang out. But whatever this is, it's quite effective. Whatever that particular blend is, I had 3 different, colored boxes. So they seem different, but who knows? Aha! I've been very fortunate as far as the leaky gut and all of that stuff. But yeah, inflammation, man. There's no doubt I've experienced high levels of inflammation, and just the fake pandemic bioweapon I got hit with, and then I've talked before about I chose to sell my body to medical science. Yeah, here's another paradox. I hate the medical system, but then I already hated them when I chose to do that. But yeah, $8,200. So I took remdesivir for about 2 weeks orally, and who even knows how much they gave me? I don't know. I just I signed some papers that I did actually read all of that stuff. Believe it or not, it was a lot, man. It was a lot of things. Lots of legalese, certainly. So extensive contract. So I got to think that plays a part as well. Straw wanna get high? Yeah, I'm bliggity blasted. Oh, B vitamins. My apologies. Yeah, I want to get back to the B vitamins and the. Thank you, Gary. Although this may not have been your intention, but yeah, when that was one of the first things I found that I could do with my nutrition and my diet. What I chose to put in my body was B vitamins complex, and I was getting the liquid synthetic from usually Walmart, although at the time I think Dollar General and Family Dollar both had them for right around $4. They're now $5, I believe, close to $5 at Walmart, and that's not recommended, but yeah, I'm sure it's all synthetic, but it's still going to be better than nothing. And I'm just talking about like a base level of like able to be in society and not just freak the fuck out, and be behaving antisocially too often, right? Some is okay, and debatably could be an advantage in some ways, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down here. All right, Christos just re-upped some nice. I'll just let y'all read the screen. I love that, Christos. Big fan of that. Yeah, Gates is trying to finish off with disease-filled mosquitoes. Carpe diem, everyone. Yeah, and here's what I would say, man. And this is not a boo-hoo, woe is me. I can't do anything with sympathy in the first place. Like, that's not, I can't build or construct anything useful out of anybody's pity or sympathy. But well, it may be better that I've actually forgotten what I was going to say yet again. Man, that's like a good 5 times in a row. And then if people, I found some specific research around panic attacks, anxiety, and niacin. But then, as we know, if you get just the, and I forget which form that is, but just the regular tablet form of nicotine, it's like nicotinine or something, but they just call it niacin. Yeah, niacin. Yeah, it ends up sounding kind of like nicotine, or spelled kind of like it. Yeah, with a CO in there somewhere. More than like even 100 milligrams will make a lot of people have a flush. Like their face gets red, all those little blood vessels get opened up, and the blood flows through, which it can be a benefit, right? Increased circulation and all of that. But the niacinamide form, AMIDE, I found one can take, up to several grams a day potentially without, the worrying about the flushing effect and all of that. I will say this: what they call flush-free niacin. This is important for folks that may not know, and definitely need. Now, this banner certainly earned when I look down there, and it's still the $180,000 fine for racing cars is still on the screen. So certainly, this is appropriate here, right? But that stuff that says it's flush-free niacin, that is not niacin at all. It's supposedly like what your body needs to make its own niacin, but it's like inositol hex or something. Anybody seen this stuff? Don't even fuck with that. If it's in something, I don't worry about it. But because something I'm taking, I think, has a small amount of it. But the stuff that claims to be flush-free niacin, the actual flush-free niacin is niacinamide. Just be aware, folks. This is me educating you, perhaps. Although most of you may already know this. Tribe certainly would. Shout out to Tribe. I mainly did the Now brand was what yeah, here we go. It's quite affordable. And apparently, there was those 2 folks that founded AA supposedly. And one of them, I believe, was like Dr. Bob or whatever, again, no expert, but supposedly it was him or the other one, I guess, was actually experimenting with treating alcoholism with B vitamins. And then certainly, the synthetic cheap ones I'm talking about at Walmart, which I don't recommend any of this stuff unless I explicitly, until you hear me explicitly say something, but even that's in a context. I don't recommend any of this stuff, but that's got the cheaper form. It's like cyana something, cobalamin. But then the better ones, which really aren't that much more expensive, B vitamin complex, have the methylated form of the B12, rather. That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. The brain definitely, especially anybody who may feel that they're having any sort of mental health challenges, and just using their own judgment, non-judgmentally, without outside of the stigma around mental health, right? Just saying, I found that's the main thing I take every day, no matter what, is B vitamins. And I'm kind of kicking myself because this last Amazon order, there's no reason why I shouldn't have thrown in an extra $10. Yeah, $10 with tax, and gotten another month, 60 capsules for $9. Not too bad. Anyway, let's see if we can do the screen share, sir. Here we go. This is Amazon, of course. Why not? Think I was getting money. I probably should be at this point. Yeah, here we go. This is what I've had before. The Now brands. Yeah, niacin 500 milligrams per capsule, 2,500%. It's vitamin B3, and so it's 100. So 50 grams will run you like $8. Probably find it locally. Maybe not that exact brand, but yeah. Of course, this has the magnesium stearate, and some people won't buy anything. So some folks will be not there. Some folks are already going, not that one, not that one. Yeah, I'm not worried about the magnesium stearate. And then some people will say it's okay as long as it's absolutely from a vegetable, because this one says vegetable sources. See, this is how fucking in depth and complex some of this supplement talk can get. Like really ridiculous. There you go, Sterling Ray. Attachment to this fleeting existence also causes anxiety. Could not agree more. Yeah, and I'm certainly having an opportunity to sort of practice, trusting the process more as it unfolds, especially coming up on broke and all of these things. And it's interesting. Like I still have money, so I'm not broke yet. So of course I can go buy, if I want to, of course I can go buy 45 to 50. Well, with tax over $50 worth of beef, why not? I ain't broke yet. Well, I think Pandora, that's probably true. The limitation with niacin, the tablet form, is that for most folks, 50 milligrams is going to make them uncomfortably flush at first. So that somebody like me, I've worked up to 100, and my B vitamin complex has 100 milligrams of the whatever that form of the flushing form of niacin is. So what I would think is the person would probably work up to 100 and start taking niacinamide, right? Because then we get into the ideas around what's as effective. And I do want to point out real quick, Pandora, you're probably right, because probably most people would just take one 500 milligram. I do want to be clear, and I'm thank you for the comment, because now I have an opportunity to clarify. I'm only referring to what I would consider mega dosing, which would be, for me, at least 3.5 grams. So 7 of those tablets a day, and possibly take them all at once. They don't have to be spread out. So I think that's the advantage of the niacinamide is what you're saying. It's not necessarily as effective as far as the strength of 500 milligrams, but I found it to be very effective at the level of anywhere between 3.5 to 7. And I've taken 7 before, probably 2 or maybe 3 days in a row. I was having a lot of problems with panic attacks, and I've never had any problem, even with anxiety, really. I mean, nothing too crazy. Certainly wouldn't. The folks who identify as like having anxiety, I certainly don't consider myself in that group, but I'm sure it's a real and valid thing. I'm not dismissing it either, right? I'm not being whatever that would be called, whatever the commies would call that, right? I get it. I'm not insensitive to some of these matters. But mega doses, specifically mega doses of at least 3.5 grams, I would say. And it's not mushrooms, but and maybe work up to that. Don't just go insane. But I think, again, just to recap and hopefully move on here, I think that's part of the benefit of the niacinamide, is that a person's not necessarily, do your own research, and this is not medical advice, but it seems to me like, just applying it to myself, I didn't believe I was in any sort of danger taking it up to 7 grams. But I found it very effective at those doses. But even then, I would say it was a full week of mega dosing before the effect was realized. And some of that was that I certainly had engaged in activities where I had depleted a lot of my own brain chemicals. And by then I was aware of it. It certainly had affected my cognition. And certainly folks that may be inclined to manic states or whatever these, I don't want to get into more and more. I'd like to just get away from anything that sounds like a clinical definition. But although I certainly always reserve the right to refer to the official fiction, which would include the whatever's considered the current versions, the status quo with respect to psychology, psychiatry, all of that. Certainly fields of interest for yours truly, to be sure. Shout out to 28 in the house listening to Mr. Benton ramble. Praise God and blessings. Truly a blessing. What a blessing. It's all blessings. Perhaps depending upon one's perspective, right? But then maybe, here's the Kabbalion, and well, all blessings are in fact only half blessings. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Now we're back to the balance and the middle path and the Tao and all of this. I'd like to sit underneath this tree here for longer, and perhaps lapse into a state of nirvana and manage to meditate long enough to remain there for some time, if that's okay. What's up, OTW? Egg yolks have iodine. Indeed, iodine is a key as well. And in fact, the main thing that got me out of being pretty freaking normie, even though I was a news junkie and even though I was listening to Alex Jones, which it does, and I was all laid up with the 9/11 documentaries, and I did a lot of message board debates on offtopic.com back in the day. So yeah, it's kind of that's a bit of a paradox, even what I'm saying here. But yeah, I started taking the atomic iodine, which looking back on it's actually quite weak. Shout out to Sunfruit Dan. The stuff he's pimping is apparently way freaking stronger. So, but it certainly seemed to, at least I believed, right? Is that a placebo? Could believing that one is in fact decalcifying one's pineal gland, while the reality is nothing of the sort is occurring. Well, does the placebo effect, which at least some portion of the scientific literature could lead one to believe is more or less a real thing, and I've recognized it in my life. I know that one of the reasons why supplements seemingly are more effective for me is that I do strongly believe that they are going to do whatever it is that I believe that they are specifically going to do. Yeah. So I understand that, yeah, like half of that is I'm placeboing myself in a way. What's up, Mr. Me? Blessings certainly in the eyes of the beholder. Yes, indeed, sir, indeed. Attitude of gratitude. That's my goal, at least partially. Yeah. What's up, y'all crazy slaves? Just out here slaving, OTW. That would be interesting for me in the live streaming, since I do like to grind, is like, what if I did reach a point where I could just live stream, but I had to live stream every day, right? And then as long as so what if I ended up averaging a certain amount of money, like after all taxes and fees, and YouTube got their part, and then by the time it's in my account, what if that was like some ridiculously low hourly, but I was just like, fuck it, I got to do something, and I just grinded. Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's kind of amusing for me to think that way. I think this Dark Side Phil, DSP, I don't know if any of you are familiar. He's a gamer, right? A live streaming gamer, but apparently he's been making his living for many years. He forces himself to take one day off a week. He just basically and he gets into it with his audience a lot, apparently. And this guy, now maybe a humiliation ritual, but the guy apparently believed that he had ended his live stream, and then purportedly unknowingly then serviced himself manually on stream. Yeah, placebo is a thing. Indeed. I have a strong, my belief is strong in many ways, and I've known that. So a lot of these things I was taking, especially the nootropics, I mean, so yeah, I am, the reality is always on THCO, he can't remember what he keeps starting down a path and then forgets where he's going. A bit of a Mr. Magoo thing going on in a way, but and it's happening again right now, actually. But I certainly think there's been some cognitive effects have accumulated, and then the fact is, if I was taking a high quality liquid Korean ginseng, Panics ginseng, which seems to be the best one nootropically as far as I can tell. The other ones, the other forms of ginseng, such as American ginseng or whatever else is out there, I forget that. There's several, but the Panics, the red Korean Panics seems to be the best one I've found for the actual nootropic. Then I was on the real deal lion's mane, as far as I could tell. That was a big one, man. And then the cordyceps for fatigue. While it didn't kill the fatigue, it certainly seemed to have some effects, right? The cordyceps. And I was even on turkey tail, daily for quite a while, and chaga. So, dude, what a blessing to be able to do that for like damn near a year. I was just balling out, man. Like, that's not even the half of what I was taking every freaking day. So, and I knew when I was doing all that no matter what, I would take at least a few months off and just strip it down to the bare necessities. And then that's ultimately the only way I've found to determine, well, what is the benefit of these various substances and herbs and supplements? And yes, many of them are synthetic. Many of them do come from places like India. Dude, this papaya powder is off the freaking charts. Give it to me. I'm happy. You mean I don't have to go to India to get this stuff? Yeah, give me the papaya powder, please. Fuck you, TBE. Yeah, I'm not. I just don't believe that everything coming out of China is garbage. Now, is it adulterated if I'm consuming freaking spirulina powder? I did fuck myself up on the Chinese spirulina powder one time. I'm not gonna lie. That was a thing that happened also. Yeah, I went a little. I tend to go to extremes, and I went a little too far with the spirulina. And looking back on it, not a good color of green. It was way too dark, man. But I guess I was trying to cap my own spirulina. What a bozo, right? But that's part of. I've tried pretty much every freaking fad that's come down the pike. The pike. I've tried for the most part. I've at least dabbled, but some of them, like the Hulda Clark liver and gallbladder cleanse. Do I need to maybe I should bring that up and put that on the screen? But I know I've done that at least 6 times. Some version of that happened naturally for me with the watermelon. It's like if I eat high fat and then, if I have a meal with a decent amount of fat and I take a bunch of the ox bile and then also have like a gang of watermelon somewhere in there, right? And here's some papaya powder, right? It's interesting what can happen sometimes. Oh, and sometimes I have the cayenne. Put the cayenne powder on the watermelon. But the watermelon's been treating me good. I got really lucky and actually found a good mini watermelon at Walmart. I couldn't believe it. It was excellent because, man, my batting average picking the watermelon has been poor of late. I've wasted some money. I've just straight up wasted at least $10 to $15. It's like, yeah, I'm eating the no good watermelon, but it's still a waste. Yeah. Shout out to the chat, by the way. Cayenne pepper in the mushroom coffee gets the blood flowing. Yes. Cayenne powder actually goes with a lot of things. I just throw it in some of these meals sometimes. But yeah, it's good for I found it good for like the intestinal motility. Number one, certainly can introduce some sort of a detox effect. That's when it's kind of spicy coming out, without getting too graphic. That's generally associated with some sort of a detox effect. OG Skid Row Brown. Yeah, Code Brown. Oh, man. Our poll, I saw that it went for like insane amounts of time. It ended up right at 11 hours, I believe. And I think that, and I want to go ahead and put this out there just for everybody that may not know, I've in no way hidden the fact that I'm somewhat sympathetic to the Muslim religion in certain ways, and certainly have enjoyed. I've read the Quran, or at least, I don't, I read English, so I understand the problems with picking. Look, it's a whole thing, even choosing which translation to read in English. So yeah, I've been down there. I've read the Quran or the Quran. I've been saying "May peace be upon him" when I'm referring to Krakow lately. I'm a big fan of Farrakhan, although, whatever. So yeah, I'm somewhat sympathetic to the plight of the so-called American Muslim, I would say. And then, certainly made no, wasn't shy expressing it when the Machine Lies has been on the show. So, it is what it is. But I'm not planning on joining up anytime soon. Certainly, I don't know that I would be convertible, but the Quran, man, there's something there. I mean, there's something there. I can't deny what I've, having read it, it's difficult to deny that there's something to it. I don't know what exactly, but well, some of them Christians don't like hearing that. But if we're going to talk about truth, and then the idea that it's at least, the original, supposedly, the original scriptures can still be referenced, right? Whereas in the Bible, there's not not a written record going all the way back to that time. Now, again, official fiction, we're all free to just be like, well, that's psyops. And it's not true. It never happened. Whatever, Yeah, maybe the AI wrote the Quran. I have no idea. But, I'm not going to dismiss an entire religion out of hand. And its scriptures, by the way, out of hand. Like, to me, that's insane. Why would I? I could still just decide, oh, the Bible is the one true religion and all this, Jesus. Yeah, I could still do that. And maybe by the way, maybe I do believe that. Who knows? I'm not even sure I know at this point. But I don't see what that's got to do with like my view of Islam or, which is a religion of peace on some level, whether these people want to acknowledge it or not. I mean, that it is, right? On some level, it doesn't. I'm not saying that then precludes any elements of war. I mean, what civilization, even the Tibetan monks supposedly have at least attempted to defend themselves at various times, right? I don't know. The Dalai Lama, whatever. And then, of course, that's got to be a psyop, but he's got to be he's got to be a predator, right? It has to be to rise to that level, it seems. What's up, Carl? Good to see you, man. Always nice to see Carl in the house. I love my beloved chatters. Kidding me? Yeah. Well, I'm not. But see, that's fine if you want to say that, sir. I'm not involved, so I have spoken on that. This is a pattern. He's done that. He's done that very thing right here on this channel, lest we forget. So, it seems to be something that he's decided he needs out of his life, as best I can tell. Hey, based on the pattern that's emerged, as the pattern has emerged, then we get into trauma and scripts and law of attraction and like attracting like and all of these things. Like, there's a lot going on there, right? But I can't diagnose people over the internet. And I agree when he refers to some of the things I say as like pop psychology nonsense, he's not wrong. I don't disagree with that viewpoint. Obviously, I believe there's some validity to what I'm doing, but I would like to think I'm working in enough elements of satire and perhaps parody that it's, artistic license, Like, I don't think I'm Mark Twain, but maybe I'm able to access some element of that. I don't know. Yeah. Well, this is not how logic works, Sterling Ray, but it's a valid question. It's a valid question, certainly. And sometimes y'all are just going to have to read the screen, I guess. I can't just read all the comments radio announcer style. I guess I could. I'm not. I shan't. Hope the toilet man slows. Yeah, exactly. Hope the toilet man slows the drinking and YouTube. Yeah, man. If not just for his organs, right? And I want to say this, man. There's definitely a link between the bioweapon attack. You'll never convince me that there's not a link between the bioweapon attack and a human being beginning to consume high amounts of alcohol. At a certain point, I talked to my mom on the phone, and I was working on average 14 hours a day, like minimum, sometimes longer. And then I had about a 40-minute total commute, there and back total. So I was maximizing my off time to get as hammered as possible so that I could be, hopefully by the time I'm getting on the big road, we're somewhere near a 0.0. I'm just calling it like it is, but I certainly was timing it out to where, I would have liked my chances had I found myself on the shoulder, broke down or something, talking to the state trooper. I mean, that can happen at any moment when one's driving a truck. They can just pull me over and inspect me. Oh, weigh station. Hey, man, just go a mile down the road. We're going to check your rig. We're going to check your fucking logs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a thing. And I called my mom at a certain point, and I was on the Discord, just like still making some sense, I think. I'm sure I was miserable to be around, but I think me and Drew were still trying to do shows Sunday. I think we were still trying to do the Sunday night show at that time. Yeah, my life was a complete shambles. I was literally attempting to drink myself to death actively, although I was hiding that from myself, right? You want to talk about the shadow work. I thought I found a loophole because I was like, well, spiritually, I knew I can't just in one fell swoop delete, right? Self-delete. That's not on the table. That's certainly no option spiritually. So I guess I thought I found a loophole. It's like, oh, I'll just do this version, and then but I'll lie to myself about, I'm just whatever, man, whatever you want to say. But I noticed that I was visiting my mom when we all got hit with it, and like her husband, not my dad, had almost died of a widowmaker heart attack. Of course, they call them that, but now it's like damn near everybody survived them. So I guess that's not even the right term anymore. But massive heart attack requiring open heart surgery, I guess would be the best way to say it. And so he had stopped drinking. I'm pretty sure he had started drinking just like out of nowhere at some point in there, although probably not that day. I was drinking hard liquor. I was drinking fucking mezcal and or tequila, I'm almost certain. And I did as much as that as I could until, too many times when I accidentally have an entire liter, however many ounces that is. I don't ever just accidentally have 35 beers or whatever. So eventually had to restrict myself to beer. But yeah, drinking, man. And then my mom started taking shots. I was letting her have some of my mezcal. It was good too, man. It was good mezcal. And I'm pretty sure she was taking shots. Hopefully I hope this ain't on the speakers. It'd be funny if she was watching this. It's just like on the speakers. Although I know her husband he's got to have the TV up real loud to be able to hear it. So certainly they're not having my booming fucking voice in their house that loud. Certainly not. Nana would be on the headphones, I presume. But yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment. Just all of that, certainly. To be sure, shout out to 32 in the house. I like my my off-hour shifts, right? I probably could make a living if just everybody else would stop going live, except for Paul, of course. I don't know that I want to be the gorilla in the space. Talking about hoaxes, shout out to that incel Groiper reject hoax wars I read that correctly, I believe. Shout out to my announcer abilities. Having a bit of a Spurg meltdown. Bless. Indeed, sir. Blessed up. Too blessed to be stressed. Yeah. Attitude of gratitude. God is great. Allahu Akbar. But yeah, I mean, sure, that's certainly well within the bounds of fair play. Just to word that way, Mr. Pohl. That's assuming that's what happened, and it certainly appeared that way based on what I've seen. Having just briefly checked into the broadcast, and then sawing. Well, and in fact, I woke up super early. Was he live at 9:00 my time? Because I know I woke up really early, and actually, I almost never. If I wake up at 9, it's been 3 hours. I know, like, there's no point in looking at the phone, but for some reason, I thought it might be midnight. I guess sometimes I just get up if I'm like super alert. That's 6 hours, right? So that's enough. And some of I ain't gonna lie to you. Some of these days, I've been going to sleep about 4:30. So to keep it real. Yeah, we can call. You can have your own. That might start fitting into a certain style of folks, right? Maybe to the, dare I say, depression, which if I ever had it in the past, I wasn't aware of it. I must have. Maybe I plowed through it, didn't know it. But that's a real thing, man. I've certainly had my tussles with that thing, whatever we're calling it. Yeah, in the last year plus. Well, and then the fake pandemic, of course, it's not even addressing any of that. And I'm burnt, man. I'm not. I'm not able to even interact with this. Any of the masking and the jab. It's just I can't. My synapses are burned out. So if I end up being in some sort of situation, I'm just gonna. I don't know. Just be shrugging. I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm fucking burnt. I ain't got nothing for you. I got no synapses left. I don't have two synapses to rub together. I've been charging the endocannabinoid system for, as much as possible every day for however long now. And, that's probably a big part of what saved my life. I don't know if, because how many folks have come in here and said RSO, 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 RSO? Well, what I did to get through 3 weeks of nightmare withdrawals is I drove my happy ass past hundreds of medical dispensaries in Oklahoma. Why they only have medical, I have no idea. And I took my, I had plenty of fiat at that moment. I can assure you, money was, it was an object, but it, I wasn't worried about it, how much I was spending. And I stocked up on RSO, Colorado RSO. It's typically about 60%, 60 to 65% THC, or that's what they claim on the packaging, right? So $20 a gram out the door. To me, it represented the best value that I've purchased, right? As far as on any consistent basis. I've certainly had RSO, $20 RSO, and they say a gram, but it's technically 1,000 milliliters, right? So actually by volume, I think, seems to me, 100 milliliter syringe typically. But I've had, I've had $20 RSO, about the same strength, maybe probably high 60s, early, low 70s, right at 70 maybe. I know what that's like too, but I don't know how much RSO I had. I know that I had so much, and I also bought a bunch of I bought like 20 vape carts, and then just I had an oil pen, I believe, or I went and got a battery. Oh, I went and bought a battery, yeah, and just vape carts all day, RSO all day. Certainly fucking passed out in my ride, all fucking RSO to the gills. So then I went through it so much faster than I thought. After a week and a half, I drove back to Colorado. And this is how affordable Colorado is at the rec, that I drove from Arkansas to Colorado and back twice. And it's still, I saved money over if I bought the exact same stuff locally. Even if I went and bought, I could have went and got a medical card and bought it in Arkansas, and it would have cost more money for sure, 100%. That's even factoring in the gas out there and back twice. So I more or less got the exact same amount of product the second time, lasted me another week and a half, and then I was out of the withdrawal. So that probably, and that's the time when I said I almost died. So in fact, Rick Simpson oil may have just directly saved my life. It's certainly that in conjunction with it's distillate. Yeah, I understand it wasn't live resin. I was doing some really cheap low end, like 1 gram, again, I guess 1,000 milliliter, whatever, but what they call a 1G, disposable cartridge. I went through like 20, probably 40 of those. That's not an exaggeration. I know one of the times I bought 20. So what I bought the second time, I couldn't even tell you. I was like delirious, like for real. That alcohol withdrawals is no fucking joke, man. So the high amounts of THC, number one, kept me from dying from the alcohol withdrawals, and then sustained me to some extent. At least, went in there and did battle with whatever was causing the inflammation. And I certainly know the bioweapon is directly highly inflammatory. I mean, there's no question about that. I'm still living that to some extent. Now it's debatable. Does it really have a spike protein that kicks off some sort, did that bioweapon attack actually modify my DNA in some way? And now am I replicating, and even to the point of shedding so-called, spike proteins? It seems possible to me. I know when I take some of this stuff that claims to kill the spike protein, it feels weird, man. Like, it doesn't make me sick. It kind of feels good, actually, but I feel weird, man, like weird neurological stuff. And this artemisinin does it. When I had the high quality NAC, actually the NACET, NACET, if I took that with bromelain, from pineapple, that would kill it. So there's been certain people who have known, there's various combinations of compounds that just straight up take this thing out. But where I'm going with the alcohol is, it seemed like my mom started drinking right about the time. And when I'm saying I don't know how I'm working this much, I was making great paychecks, and that's even accounting for that the truck broke down at least once every 2 weeks. I mean, that minimum, however many months I worked there, 4 months maybe, after I came back. That was coming back from the broken foot, by the way. I broke my heel second day on the job through their negligence, 100% their negligence. Collected, maxed out on the workman's comp for 3 solid months. Went to the doctor just enough for him to x-ray it and be like, ask me a couple questions and then send me on my way. No cast, no surgery, nothing. It healed normally. The first day he said I was good to walk. Of course, I'd been walking on it here and there, and I've been putting weight on it ever since the swelling went back down to normal. It really didn't hurt. I mean, maybe I'm tough. Maybe I can take a lot of pain. I don't know. It really didn't hurt that much at any point. I was super fucking careful not to knock it out of place, though. I knew it was, once I found out it was in proper alignment, I was like, all right, I'm doing everything I can to keep that bad boy. But part of the healing, I'm convinced, is putting weight on it as soon as possible. And I certainly was doing my own driving in my car with the that was my broken foot, was my right foot, obviously. But yeah, I walked 17 miles. Again, Mr. Benton, prone to extremes. I walked 17 miles. That's not an exaggeration. The first day I was cleared to, it's because I'd gotten drunk and just, presumably something went wrong with my clutch system on my '09 white Versa 6-speed hatchback. And it got left about 8 miles from my motel, 8.5, I guess. And when I finally looked at the Google Maps enough to remember where I would have been, that's how blackout drunk I had been. Of course, I got a ride. I got some folks were nice enough to give me a ride. And these are like country folks that think Conway, Arkansas is like the big city. Like it's hectic and there's a lot of traffic. Like for real. It's interesting, man, being from Arkansas sometimes. Interesting place to be from. 33 watching. Yeah, shout out to 28 in the house. Yeah, cayenne pepper also kills demons. Yeah, it's very strong, but gentle at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, I think if people may have certain IBS or whatever, maybe it's not great for that. At a certain time, I was taking a lot of cayenne, and in retrospect, I was actually exceeding what my body could make use of, and it was, coming out not really in a way that was only beneficial up to a point, I should say. What do they call that? The point of diminishing returns, perhaps. I think so. Well, we've cleared an hour, and in the interest of conserving the data, I think I'm going to go ahead and land the plane here. Although there's always the option of switching over. Yeah, let me take a quick break. I'll switch over to the motel Wi-Fi. We might just roll it out the rest of the show with the. If we get a good connection in another 20 minutes, great. If not, we'll just shut her down. Hang on. Oh, and apologies for that. I'm back. Apologies if that was abrupt. How are you, folks? Yeah, been screen capping the Bex Factor at the Bex Factor for like 5 hours now on the one of the think pads, and in 1.5x, and she's up to like 11 hours. So the timing of that, I do. Not a huge fan of the fact that it's always the up to the moment live chat, but then the at times it's like hours behind that is what's actually the audio and whatever's going on the screen. But I think in the future, man, that's going to be the preferred way to consume these things. Is like, yeah, maybe like all my live streams will still be up, maybe, and a few other people's from like 2 years ago or whatever it ends up being, 3 years. But I think there's just something to that, the screen cap, and just you got the chat right there, and it's all right there. You got the how many are in the live. It says 10, 10 live viewers or whatever. I think there's something to that, and I really do like the 1.5x, just being able to go back in time and screen cap. I could tell there's something's going to come out of that. What that is, I don't necessarily know, but I guess I'm back. Better put on the do better content, sir. Yep, that's what you've earned. Do better content. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm on the motel Wi-Fi. Now it's the bonus round. See, I did a little over an hour on my personal hotspot data. That's how much you folks mean to me, or how much hearing myself talk means to me. Perhaps that's what we're talking about. Dare I try to even push it further and do some screen shares? Should we get greedy? What do y'all say? I think it might be worth firing up the dual monitor here. Fire up the second monitor. Just a couple of little clicks here in Linux, by the way. I don't know what it's like for y'all in Windows, but hey, it just turns right on, ready to rock. All right, let's do some of this. Got to close like half these. Well, going to close like half these tabs. All right. Close that. Close that. Close that. Close that. All right, all that's good. Oh yeah, Bex at the Bex Factor. I like that too. That's easier to type. It's all one, so it's easier. Two X's though. Still live apparently, or maybe just now wrapped up potentially. Finally wrapped up. Okay, 9 watching. Still going. Still going. Wow. Anyway, I don't know. I do that sometimes. Guess it's not that impressive. Pretty cool though. Yeah, I like I like some of her content for sure. I must say, there's something there. Not exactly sure what, but here's the channel at the Bex Factor. Let's go ahead and copy and paste that, sir. The Bex Factor rebrand. Yeah, still going. Exactly, Capricorn. Well, maybe we'll check out what's going on in real time, perhaps. Or, well, we'll see. If my connection allows, of course. We all know how that goes. This may not even happen. And again, still screen capping. As far as I know, it hasn't even, it's worked all day, which is a miracle. Pretty amazing. Had a feeling to it. Had a feeling. Now I can't even highlight the comments. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm probably Domo Origato, Mr. Robotoing by now. It's almost kimchi time. Boy, that mini watermelon sure was good. I almost got 2, but the reality is I would have eaten both of them today had I done so. So probably better off just sticking to the one. neck. I said, well, shit, obviously I love the sound of my own voice as well, sir, but so 3 days in a row. Unless 3 days in a row. I'm gonna have a well marbled. It's going to be delicious in the slow cooker. Can't wait. Very much looking forward to that. Oh yes, you're right. Yep. Between the break and then I guess me trying to play. Oh no, they probably went to check out Bex, which I would hope that they would. Yeah, y'all go check out Bex. This is over, man. This is over, buddy. And some of the audience is getting a little better. Yeah, here we go. And the connection is more or less. Can you hear me now? Here we go. There you go. Finally. And then we'll also get one of those up there. Oh yeah, this thing's over with, man. It's a wrap. Yep. Oh yeah, kimchi and watermelon. Yeah, that has not been. I like, of course. I see what you did there. Well. Played. Bill. And then Music Calls the Secret apparently going to mow the lawn. Bye.